Hi everyone, this is Devleena and I'm welcoming you all to another exciting episode of Icons Behind Brand. And we are heading towards our interesting series, which is Iconic Ads with Devleena and Saurabh. I have my expert co-host with me, Mr. Saurabh Bajaj. Hi Saurabh.
Hi. Good to be here.
Welcome Saurabh. And I'm excited to announce our guest for today, Mr. Amit Sethiya, who is the head of marketing of Syska Group. Hi Amit.
Hi, Amit.
Hi Devleena, hi Saurabh. It's nice to be again back, for an interesting conversation. Thank you so much.
Yes, Amit, and I can't wait to talk about the conversation. And before we head into that, let's play the ad here.
सर पूरी इंडिया में हमारे ब्रांचेस है, फॉरेनर्स भी हमारे यहाँ सेव करते हैं. कॉफी लीजिए सर. यहाँ पे आवर मोटो इज सेविंग सेविंग. साइन कीजिए, यू वोंट बी डिसअपॉइंटेड.
मैं आपके बैंक में पैसा नहीं जमा करूंगा.
क्यों सर? सेविंग्स में हम एक्सपर्ट हैं.
जो सिस्का एलईडी यूज नहीं करते वो सेविंग की क्या बात करेंगे? सिस्का एलईडी करीब 70% बिजली बचाता है, तो ऑफिस में भी डालिए और घर में भी. आज ही सिस्का एलईडी के साथ अपना सेविंग अकाउंट खुलवाइए. सिस्का एलईडी, लाइट ईयर्स अहेड. 220
क्या?
प्लस 40 300. 15 वॉट के 20.
सुनो,
25 के 4.
क्या चल रहा है?
सिस्का ये होम तो कुल मिला के हो गए 700 वॉट.
तो
अगर इससे बेहतर रोशनी 250 वॉट में मिलती है तो तकरीबन 70% की सेविंग, यानी 3 घर और रोशन उतनी ही बिजली में.
यानी सिस्का योर होम एंड योर होम.
हेल्पलाइन पे कॉल कीजिए. सिस्का टेक्नीशियन आपके घर आकर आपके सारे पुराने बल्ब्स को सिस्का एलईडी लाइट से रिप्लेस कर देगा.
हेलो सर, सिस्का योर होम.
शुरू हो जाइए. आप भी सिस्का योर होम. सिस्का एलईडी, लाइट ईयर्स अहेड.
Amit, before we head into that, because it's so interesting that I just want to jump into the actual conversation. But our viewers and listeners would love to know about you, your background, and about the brand and your association with the brand, your involvement.
I would say that I am a marketeer, consciously and not by chance, I would say. And it's been an amazing roller coaster journey, right from steel to doing real estate, selling homes online in the country for the first time back in 2012, to consumer electronics and a leading brand like Syska. So I think it can't get better than this for me, and more so because Syska as a brand is respectful enough in the category, because it's a thought leader brand and a brand which is growing by leaps and bounds. And today we are not only doing a great job in terms of LED products, but we are diversifying into various ancillary categories. So while we are known for LED solutions, we are also doing good business in the personal care grooming appliances, mobile accessories, wires and cables, smart home appliances, small home appliances, wearables, and so on and so forth. So I think, as what we say in terms of the brand positioning, light years ahead, I think we truly justify and demonstrate that belief in that sense.
So, Amit, if we talk about the campaigns and TVCs, so what was the thought process behind this, and what was the objective at that particular point of time?
So basically, we need to go back a little in time in terms of when we started the business, in this category. Broadly, the category was very B2B facing. There was not much of awareness in the retail space for consumers like you and me. So that's wherein we decided that the first and the foremost objective for us should be to create that mass awareness rather, because that is very, very important. And while, as I said, my peers were actually facing more on the B2B side, this was an opportunity for the brand like Syska to actually, bring that big revolution in terms of the B2C aspect of the business. So with that objective, we decided to, bring these marketing campaigns which are very, very thought through, very, very, I would say, visible, because nobody else in the category was doing, such kind of awareness programs on 24/7, 365 basis. And then obviously, in this whole journey, we decided to bring the most fitting face for the brand, which will connect, beautifully with the Indian consumers, and this will help to resonate that big message that Syska always wanted to, share with the audiences. So I think that's how we started the journey. In 2013-14 onwards types, I would say, and never looked back. And still today, Syska is, recalled very, very strongly, in the category by its, consumers, and loved a lot.
So the face of Irfan was like very honest, and it was like very, it has a goodness towards the culture. So I think that that fit very well the brand message and brand legacy here, right? So a little anything about choosing the brand ambassador. I know we all are very much connected with him till now. So any thought behind that? I as a fan, I would love to know about that.
I think definitely it was an impeccable synergy that we created with Irfan Khan, and for the very obvious reasons, because not only he was very talented in his art, but he was also an amazing person. As a person, you also connect with him very easily. I think that was the very inherent quality of that gentleman. And as I said, he was a very homegrown talent, within the country, and that is what even Syska is. And I think it's very important and imperative for the brand to ensure that the kind of persona you have as a brand, I think somewhere in that same sense, your representative also needs to, resonate or reflect that kind of attribute, right? So that you can create that conviction in the content that you are creating. I think that's where I think when I look at it today, I can easily say that yes, both of them are homegrown brands, very, very talented. And Irfan had this quality of conveying that message, and even if that message is humorous, he always used to convey that message with a very straight face. I think that was very unique about Irfan. He himself never used to laugh, but the kind of dialogue he used to deliver, or the kind of script he used to narrate, I think even if that is funny, it used to be delivered without being comical himself. So I think that was very impressive. And yes, Irfan was loved by everybody, right from a metro audience to a non-metro audience to Hindi speaking and otherwise. I think he had an amazing mass reach. So I think these all qualities were obviously there for us to not to miss on a talent like Irfan Khan.
Yeah, so Amit, can you tell me a little bit about, how early in the journey of Syska have you been associated with? Because, what I like about Syska is I love their futuristic logo. I love that whole, whispering voice of light years ahead, the way it is all done, right? So that whole brand identity of Syska is really intriguing. So I wanted to know how far back are you associated, and can you tell us a little bit about the origins of the brand and the company itself?
So it's been 6 years that I'm associated with this brand, and as you rightly said, it has a very, very futuristic impression on the audiences, and the way it has been communicated, I think all that sort of puts a beautiful halo effect in the entire experience when you are as a consumer consuming that content. So I think we have been very, very conscious about not only having the fitting face as the brand ambassador, but also the kind of tonality the messages will have over a period of time, the way the brand is crafted, as you spoke about it, and how it is also positioned. When you say light years ahead, it conveys lot many messages, not only on the product front, but also on the belief that you have and everything in between, right? And yes, you mentioned about Whisper. I think it's a small sign off that we always wanted to have across all the communication, so that it again reminds you that it's Syska. So I think in fact I have seen so Syska has always been all over the place in terms of mass media communication. So I remember even we were consuming a lot of your cinema screens as the inventory. And these kids, when you are sitting in the hall and watching the movie, and then there is a break, and then you have these ads which are played for the audiences. So even the kids, they imitate that whisper that used to come, and that was very, very interesting to sort of experience, because you know that you are the brand representative. But the moment of joy is when you realize that the content that you have created for the brand is actually reaching out to, lot many people in their very own sweet ways,
True. Would you have any idea on how was the logo crafted, and when was that whole tagline of "Light Years Ahead" crafted? What was the story behind it? Was it just something which is intuitive, or was there some kind of research or thinking? Something about the origins of the overall brand itself is very interesting.
So I think this was created around 2013 when we started the journey for the brand Syska LED. And we always wanted to keep a very, very fresh feeling. I mean, because if you look at the way Syska is written, it's written in robust form. It's not very cursive in that sense, or very, high on curvilinear profiles. It's very straight face, blue color, which is very fresh. The logo is very interesting. There's a small belief that we have in terms of the logo, that we want to ensure that technology and sustainability should go, together. That is very, very important. So that's where you have blue color, which is representing technology. That is where Syska is at the forefront of it. And then there's a bit of that green play that you have, which is representing the nature. And the way the logo is crafted, it is very, very seamless. Not like, it ends somewhere. It is very, very continual in that sense. So that's where I think we decided to have this particular style of depicting the logo, that it needs to talk about technology and sustainability together. It should be a never-ending story. It needs to be continuous in that sense, and it needs to look very fresh.
No. Now that you mention it, I really like the whole blue and the green, and the green tied to sustainability is a great idea, because finally that's the advantage of these appliances, right? Because not only do they save money for the consumer, but also they are more environmentally friendly in that sense. Now, this thing of light years ahead, right? So light years ahead can be very, very simple, right? The fact that it is used to light appliances, it is taking you to the future in terms of energy. But is there anything else from the point of view of initiatives that you wanted to do to, bring this purpose to life in terms of any other exciting initiatives? Anything outside of the ATL and advertising?
The simple reason, Saurabh, here was to ensure that, see what happens most of the times, with brands, that you are more inward looking, because, you are in so much of love, with your own brand, that you think that, you have created like a masterpiece. But that masterpiece needs to, really be in the position to convey that message, what you really want to the end user. And I think when you say light years ahead, it's not only, as I said, very, very product centric, but at the same time, it's very, very thought centric as well. Because whatever you are doing today as a brand, when we are doing a lot of these innovations, within the, organization, the way we are, developing the distribution, partners, the way we are, entering different ancillary segments, the way we are redefining the customer experiences, the way technical specifications are relooked and developed again and again, I think everything is light years ahead. So it is not only that, for the sake of saying, you say it, but you need to demonstrate across the entire organization in everything that you do, whether it is product or promotion as well, because today we are talking about advertisements. In that sense also you need to remain light years ahead, because Syska took the onus of creating that awareness not only for themselves, but in fact for the category.
Nice. No, so I know a little bit about LEDs, because I started my career with Wipro Consumer Care in 2004. And Wipro Consumer Care has got Wipro Consumer Care and lighting. So some of the stuff that we would sell will be the bulbs and the LED lights. But we never really invested in any kind of an ATL campaign. We're happy to say whatever demand there is, let us just pick up a little bit of cream off the top. And our main bother used to be the fact that some of these bulbs, the LEDs, at least the one which we had, they would often be defective, and they're not defective from the factory, but it's very fragile, right? So sometimes something can break, and hence how do you give the reassurance to the retailer that we are giving this warranty card, and that reverse cycle of logistics can happen, and so on and so forth. That was really the plan, the issue for us. So hence what I remember then is we're very inward looking in terms of what is business I can I solve the nitty gritties, and we never really thought from the point of view of category creation or awareness. So was it a tough decision to become a thought leader and to say that I will make those investments?
I wouldn't say that it was difficult, because I think it was an opportunity, I would say. I think let us flip it, because back then when the decision was taken to enter into this category, it was very B2B, it was very institutional, there was no retail awareness about this, and people thought that, this is not for me, But while the country and the citizens needed that solution at a mass level, because even we are consuming energy, right? So I think that's when I think there was a vision that really ensured that things are in place. And when you spoke about, say, example, these nuances of the product, I think yes, I agree that when the journey began, the product and what it was back then into what it is today. Even I think technology has evolved over a period of time. Now today, as we speak, it is not only that LED bulb which is used in our houses, which gives us that basic light, but also today these bulbs are iotized, and that is when it makes the entire lighting experience go completely immersive. I can give you example today that these smart LED bulbs today can technically give you 16 million colors, and that is
wow,
a truth. Okay, it's not that I'm creating a story. Technically, you can get 16 million colors, and these iotized products are completely in the position to talk to you through your mobile apps and voice assistants. And imagine the power it gives to the consumer. Today, we can create those many modes for every single evening at our place, right, at our home, and enjoy the comfort and convenience together, because today you can actually handle your products with the help of a mobile app also. So I think technology has actually brought this category really far to a stage wherein I would say at least the customers have started enjoying the product. Otherwise, pehle, if you go back, a bulb was a bulb was a bulb, sirf on kiya or off kiya. Today, it's no more the same. It's thankfully changing gradually and slowly, but it's changing.
Devleena, yeah, I agree with you. Lovely conversation. And I think we both really enjoyed it. And see, it's not often that we talk about a brand which is almost B2B, while they are largely focusing on B2C with these ads that we saw, right? But at the core of it would have been a B2B brand, right? Now, what really pans out in such a case? First is you need a very clean, logical message, right? On which to build your brand core. And that is what they did well. So they realized that savings are at the core of it. Yeah. And through various ways and means, they have to deliver that message in fresh takes, in fresh ways, in a way that doesn't become mundane or boring and yet is believable. So I think that whole logical core to your brand proposition is something that was used very well. The second is, Syska as a brand has emerged, has really transformed, a part of the category 5-6 years back or in 2013, but it has entered a lot of new categories. And what allows it to do that? It is the fact that every piece of communication that you make has got an opportunity to transform how your mother brand is seen. And light years ahead, the fact that it stands for savings, the fact that it is futuristic, gives them a right to enter new categories and builds their mother brand identity on a very solid footing. I think that's the second thing. Yeah. The third is, especially in categories which are not necessarily impulse or entertaining. In those categories where there's a logical message to be given, you have to build branded cut through. You have to build branded stickiness. If you find a choice of celebrity or a voice or a protagonist or a visual or a mental device, which is a shortcut and which owns the brand's values, you are able to make that cut through. And from what we learned in the conversation on how consumers would ask them on how the star himself is doing, this showed how much of a connection between the brand and the celebrity they were able to establish. And they were able to do this by being consistent about it, adopting a tone of voice which is expected from the celebrity, and also seeing the fit between the brand's values and the celebrity's values. And hence, I think for me, these are the top 3 learnings. And hence, just to summarize, 1, build a logical point of difference, build a solid brand core on which to base your proposition. Be aware of what your brand's activations or advertising is going to do to the master brand proposition, because that is finally the brand to the consumer. And finally, look for the right brand mnemonic or the celebrity fit which owns the values of brand, which multiplies the brand, and it is not just a pretty face. I think that's the key thing that we took out for today's conversation.
Superb. Those are like very strong and very powerful, Saurabh. And yeah, thank you for sharing those key insights with us, our viewers and listeners, Saurabh here. And there are a lot of things to learn from you and from our guest. And I'm looking forward for the next episode. So stay tuned.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stay tuned, guys. Looking forward to more fun every weekend.
Yes.
Cool.